Hey guys, Karosif here with another review. This time I'll be reviewing the Chou Zenkai Gattai Deluxe ZenkaiJuOh from Kikai Sentai Zenkaiser. These are the mech versions of Super Zenkaiser and Super TwoKaiser that can combine with each other, as well as with their own respective robos. This set includes 4 main parts: Super Zenkaiser, Super TwoKaiser SD, a weapon, and a connector piece. So, let's get started. First up, we'll look at Super Zenkaiser in his giant form. So, the design here is basically the same as the one we saw on the soft vinyl figure, just a bit more streamlined. Starting off, we have the head, which again looks like Zenkaiser's helmet, inside a bigger helmet that looks like Dragon Caesar. Got a nice Z on the forehead for Jew Ranger. Have the chest, which resembles that of Dragon Caesar, but with the Zenkaiser symbol in the middle. Has the nice Jew Ranger Z's on the shoulders, as well as Dragon Caesar symbols on the knees. Got a very nice, kind of sleek and slimmed down design, coming down to these clawed feet. Looks a little bit awkward from the side, but that'll come more into play later on. And now on the back we can see these cans attached to shoulders, which are more used in other modes. They are just kind of pegged on here, and are rather hollow out. But that's just how it's designed. Articulation-wise, the arms can rotate around 360 degrees. This can move forward and back. These can bend 90 degrees, as well as a toe pivot forward, but that's mostly for sake of transformation. It also includes a weapon, the Zenkai 10 Lance, combination of Zenkai and Kaiten, or rotate, since this part can rotate like a drill in the show. This is very much based on the Dragon Antler, the weapon of Go-Ryujin from Jew Ranger. So in order for Super Zenkaiser to wield it, you have this little handle here that folds down. Then, move up the hand, and something I recommend is holding down this piece here with your thumb. That way you can plug it into his hand like that. And you have his weapon, which does scale pretty nicely compared to him. I can see it has quite a nice size. Speaking of size, for a little size comparison, here is Super Zenkaiser next to ZenkaiJuOh Juran. And as you can see, they scale quite well to each other. They have about the same general size, though because of the design, Super Zenkaiser is a little bit taller than ZenkaiJuOh. But they can be displayed together quite nicely. Next we have Super TwoKaiser SD. In the case of TwoKaiser, instead of becoming a giant version of himself, he instead becomes an SD, or Super Deformed Robo, like Gattai and Ricky. You can see his head here, having a helmet that's just like the one worn by TwoKaioh, as well as shoulders representative of TwoKaioh's shoulders. However, he has this big, basically this big head on his chest, which is the head of V-Rex from Time Ranger. And just for a little comparison, here he is next to Ricky, as well as Gattai, and you see that he scales quite well to both of them. Now, like those two, the only articulation he really gets are that his shoulders are on ball joints. Although he does get a little bit of an extra point of articulation in that the jaw can open and close. But there's really not much else to him. So, next let's combine them together. Next, we'll combine together Super Zenkaiser and Super TwoKaiser SD. So starting off with Super TwoKaiser SD, remove the head from its chest, and set both pieces down. Then most of the transformation comes from Super Zenkaiser. So, remove the cannons from the shoulders, remove the weapon, fold up the handle, fold in this extended stand, and then take this piece and rotate it around 180 degrees, so that it now bends at a 90-degree angle. Then, for Super Zenkaiser, I'm going to rotate the arms forward, and then take these pieces on the back of his wrists, rotate them all the way around so they fully cover the fists. I'm going to bend him over, just like that. We'll take this rail here and slide onto this peg here on the back. And we'll bend the knees back like that, and then bend the ankles forward. We'll take the cannons and then using this diagonal piece, attach them onto the shoulders using these pegs on top. And we'll take Super TwoKaiser, rotate the arms forward, and you have these little pegs on the ends of his fists. We're going to peg into these holes here and here. We'll get them nice and secure. Like that, and like that. And finally, in a slightly disturbing manner, we're actually going to take Super Zenkaiser's face and fold it open to reveal a joint. I'll then insert the head into that joint. And open up the jaw. And here we have ZenkaiJuOh. When taking a look at him, he has quite an interesting design, which is a blend of two different robos, Dragon Caesar and V-Rex. Starting off from the head, we obviously have a very much V-Rex inspired head, but you also have these horns inspired by Dragon Caesar. We got the cannons from V-Rex, but the shoulders of Dragon Caesar. Dragon Caesar's chest plate with the finger missiles of V-Rex. As well, of course, the legs and grilled tail of Dragon Caesar. And it's quite an interesting blend between the two to create something completely new. Of course, it still retains a little bit of articulation. And because of the way the joints work, you can technically rotate around the shoulder cannons. Though it does look a little bit awkward because of how it pivots rather than rotates completely side to side. And thankfully it does stand quite well. Now for another size comparison, you can see that it does have the same mass, but it now stands at a more squat position, so it looks shorter than ZenkaiJuOh. But if that was all there was, there wouldn't be that much to it. So, we can now get to the super combinations between Super Zenkaiser and ZenkaiJuOh, as well as Super TwoKaiser and TwoKaioh. Next up, we'll combine Super Zenkaiser sans the Zenkai 10 Lance with Juran Tyranno. So, we're actually going to start by setting aside Juran Tyranno and start with the transformation for Super Zenkaiser. So once again, we're going to start by detaching the cannons. Then we're going to take the chest piece and remove it. Set it aside. Then we'll take the missiles that were on the back of the wrists, and instead of rotating them all the way, we'll rotate them so that they're straight out like that. Then we'll detach the left arm, and using these clips here, sandwich it together with the right arm. And we'll take this Z symbol on the front, fold it down, then rotate the waist sideways like this, take the arm and rotate it inwards like that, then screw that back together. Then we'll go around to the feet, go to the back of the left foot, slide this lever, which allows you to attach this claw. We'll take the waist and fold it inwards, just like that, connecting it at the back of the heels. Now, amazingly enough, this part is actually well balanced enough that you can stand it on its own without it falling. So, next we'll get to Juran TwoKaioh, and we'll do the same transformation as for ZenkaiJuOh. With one additional step, we're going to take this piece and attach it to the foot. And connect like that. And take the two pieces and connect them together. And here, we'll attach this cannon to this shoulder. Take this adapter piece, slide it onto Juran's shoulder, attach the other cannon, then open up the head. And here we have ZenkaiJuOh Super Juran. So let's take a look. So of course, we now have a new head, and most of it comes from this side. So starting off, we have this horn here that has the head of Dragon Caesar at the end of it, as well as this cool green visor, a Z on the head or the forehead for Zyuranger, and of course a pretty standard jaw, which of course combines with the other half of the head from Juran. On the side, we have this nice chrome gold Z, again for Zyuranger. And get the legs here. And nicely, we have the other claw on this side to kind of balance it out. As well as the arms would have the shoulder cannons. And now we have a full array of missiles, similar to VRX Robo. And of course, since you have everything open here if you want to, you can additionally take the Juran sword and Juran shield, and equip them to the Juran side by simply putting the sword in hand and the shield on the side. Though it does get a bit awkward when you get to the waist. As you can see, while it does connect somewhat nicely in the front, we do have a bit of gappage here, and while it does connect up here in the back, this joint actually just doesn't connect anywhere, and so it basically just has this part to somewhat fill in the space. But that's just the product of the two wildly different designs coming together into one. And of course we also have the additional sounds made from closing and reopening the head. So we have the first one for Juran, and the second one for Super. And overall, it's a cool combination that combines an already existing Zyuranger based mech with one based on a different mech from Zyuranger, so it's kind of like a double Zyuranger power. Next, we'll combine Super TwoKaiser with TwoKaioh, for which we'll need Super TwoKaiser SD, the leftover parts not used on ZenkaiJuOh Super Juran, and everything that's used for TwoKaioh Gattai, except for, funnily enough, Gattai himself. So to start, Once again, detach the head from Super TwoKaiser, and the Gatling gun from Ricky. And the start of the process will be very similar to that of TwoKaioh Katana. Place Ricky in the pilot seat up here. Pull out this panel of the jaw and pull out this plank on TwoKaioh. Place in Super TwoKaiser SD and then turn the dial. Have him get eaten. Then close up the jaw and close the panel. And from there we'll get to the rest of the transformation. So, rotate the legs of the wheels forward, fold them out and down, fold down the left arm and up the shoulder, coming up top here, take Katana's sword and attach it to Ricky's head, and fold him down to become the left arm. Go around to the back, and attach the Gatling gun on the waist. And from here is where things get a little bit different. So, take the Zenkai 10 lance and extend out the stand again. Take what was the chest plate for Super Zenkaiser, flip it around, and attach it to this joint here. Then we're actually going to go and take the kanji that was on the chest here, detach it, and then use this joint to peg it onto here. Then we'll extend out this connector here, or this handle here, and use that to plug it into the hand. Then we'll take the Vrex head. You can see this seam line down here, so we're going to take it and split it in half. Raise up each half, like so, and then open up the jaws. Then using these little connectors here, we're going to connect them to these gold pieces here. Be a little bit tricky, but it's easier to do from the side. Just like that. And finally, we'll take the head, rotate it around 180 degrees to complete it. And here we have Super TwoKaioh. So it is mainly an altered version of TwoKaioh Katana, but with a little bit of difference. Starting out from the head, we now have this new helmet, which is a more extravagant looking pirate hat. Some nice green eyes there. And this crest looks like a ship's anchor. You have the Vrex crest on the chest, which is quite nice. It does form a bit of a V shape with kind of a smaller V out on the bottom. Then we have this modified version of the Zenkai 10 lance, which has the flame stone from the chest, as well as this piece down here. And interesting enough, with this being here, it actually even more closely resembles the dragon antler, as that was actually what was used to use it in Juran, though this piece was flipped the other way around. It still does retain the articulation, although a little trick is that the use of this handle is not restricted specifically to this mode. If you want, you can actually more probably make use of this elbow joint here, so you can have him holding this at an angle. And conversely, you can use this handle to have Super Zenkaiser hold the Zenkai 10 lance upright if you want to. And one of the most interesting details is something that's not easily seen when transforming it, which is the way the head converts. So you can see you have the face for Super TwoKaiser SD on the front, and then obviously the back of the helmet here. But you can see it looks a little bit different, and that's because there's a bit of an automorph function, whereas when you rotate around the body, the anchor actually lifts up to reveal the eyes, which is a neat little touch that adds just a little bit of personality to this mech. But unfortunately, because of the way this is set up, you can really only make this as a modified version of TwoKaioh Katana because of how this only detaches on this side, as well as how this has to face this way in order for it to get the proper look. But despite not having much to it, it is a pretty cool combination. And for our final combination, we can also take the half body of Super Zenkaiser and then combine it with Vroom Dump. So I already have him converted like this. So all we need to do is convert Vroom. Of course, stop attaching the parts, and then go through transformation. And here we have ZenkaiJuOh Super Vroom. So of course it's the same combination as we get for Super Juran, but in this case we now have the halves of the heads combined with the half head of Super Zenkaiser as well as that of Zenkai Vroom. Of course we can have him hold the Vroom picker, but the unfortunate part is that there isn't actually any way to attach the pieces that were used to add the rest of it to Super Juran. We just take a look. We got the claw piece down here, which has no way fitting onto the foot here. And as far as the adapter goes for the other half, sadly, it does not have any room to attach to this shoulder because this part is raised up so much. And you'll have this piece here that lets the can peg in. Not to mention there are absolutely no joints on the other half that allow you to attach the other set of wheels. And so, as far as we know thus far, this is actually going to be a toy exclusive mech, which is actually pretty rare for Super Sentai, but of course, this was definitely something that was intended as far as the toys go, because it has those sounds built in, and because it has those corresponding joints. And of course it also has extra sounds for afterwards. And there we go. So overall, our third Zenkaiser mech has a lot to offer. Of course, we have the two individual robots, which are quite different from each other, one being a full-size robot, equivalent to something like ZenkaiJuOh or TwoKaioh, while the other one is a miniature SD robo, similar to the ones used for TwoKaioh. Of course, they can combine together into ZenkaiJuOh, which, as I described before, is quite an impressive combination that melds together the designs of two different popular robots into a new one. Not to mention how it allows you to make use of all the pieces in order to separate them and then make these two new super combinations that you can see here displayed at the same time. And I think that's actually quite a nice thing to be able to have the pieces from one go to one combination and then the rest go to another. So that as far as the pieces from this set goes, there's really nothing left out. Though there are a couple of pieces left out from the individuals. Not to mention the fact that not only do we have ZenkaiJuOh Super Juran, but if you have Vroom, you can make Super Vroom too. So really, this is definitely something that works alright on its own, but is even better if you have the previously released mechs go along with it. So, if you have been collecting the mechs up to this point, I can definitely recommend picking up this set. Next time I'll be taking a look at some more Sentai gears. So, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And if you're new and would like to see more, please subscribe and hit the bell icon. And for now, this is KRX50, writing off.